の時間なのだ。この動画は英語に少しでも慣れたい音や心地よい声でぐっすり眠りたい音にぴったりなのだ。ヘッドホンやイヤホンを使うともっとリラックスできるかもしれないのだ。でもね、寝る準備ができたらそのまま聞いてリラックスしてほしいのだ。聞きながら眠っちゃっても全然大丈夫なのだ。それじゃあ一緒にリラックスした時間を楽しむのだ。ではでは始めるのだ。
Daily life. Hello. Welcome to your daily English practice. Today, we will follow a typical day in the life of a young person. Listen carefully and try to understand the words and sentences. Let's begin. The alarm clock rings at 6:30 in the morning. Emma opens her eyes slowly. She doesn't want to get out of bed, but she knows she has to. She turns off the alarm and stretches her arms. "Good morning, world," she says. Emma goes to the bathroom to brush her teeth. She washes her face with cold water and looks in the mirror. Her hair is messy, so she grabs a comb and fixes it. After that, she goes to the kitchen to make breakfast. She prepares toast with butter and jam and pours a glass of orange juice. While eating, she checks her phone for messages and reads the news. After breakfast, Emma decides to prepare her lunch for school. She takes out some bread, slices of turkey, lettuce, and cheese. She makes a sandwich and wraps it in foil. Then, she fills a bottle with water and places everything in her lunchbox. She also packs a snack, an apple, and a small chocolate bar. She likes to stay organized and ready for the day. Once she finishes in the kitchen, Emma goes back to her room to choose her outfit. She picks a pair of jeans, a comfortable sweater, and her favorite sneakers. She checks her bag to make sure she has all her books, notebooks, and pens. Finally, she sprays a little perfume and is ready to leave. At 7:30, Emma leaves the house. She puts on her jacket, grabs her backpack, and locks the door. The weather is sunny and cool. She walks to the bus stop and waits for the bus. While waiting, she greets her neighbor, Mr. Brown, who is walking his dog. They chat briefly about the weather before the bus arrives. When the bus arrives, She gets on and greets the driver. "Good morning." The bus is crowded, but she finds a seat near the window. On the way to school, Emma listens to music on her headphones. She looks outside and sees cars, bicycles, and people walking. The city is busy in the morning. She notices a flower shop with colorful bouquets displayed outside and thinks about buying flowers for her mom someday. As the bus stops at a red light, Emma takes out her notebook and reviews her homework. She wants to make sure everything is complete before she gets to class. A classmate sitting nearby notices her and asks a question about the math assignment. Emma is happy to help and explains the problem briefly. Emma arrives at school at 800. Her first class is math. The teacher writes equations on the board, and Emma takes notes in her notebook. She asks a question when she doesn't understand something. The teacher explains patiently, and Emma feels more confident. After math, she has an English class. The students read a story and discuss it in small groups. Emma enjoys talking with her classmates about the characters and the plot. Her group has a lively discussion about the story's theme, and Emma shares her opinions confidently. She likes how her teacher encourages everyone to express their thoughts. During the break, Emma goes to the cafeteria. She buys a sandwich and a bottle of water. She sits with her friends, and they talk about their favorite movies and weekend plans. Laughter fills the room as they share funny stories. One friend tells a joke that makes everyone laugh so hard they almost cry. After the break, Emma has science class. The teacher shows a video about space exploration, and Emma is fascinated by the images of distant planets and stars. She takes detailed notes and decides to do more research on the topic at home. The day continues with history and art classes. In history, they learn about ancient civilizations, and Emma participates in a group project about Egyptian culture. In art, she paints a landscape and enjoys experimenting with colors. School ends at 3:30 in the afternoon. Emma goes to the library to study. She has a history test tomorrow, so she reviews her notes and reads her textbook. The library is quiet, and she can focus well. She also borrows a novel for leisure reading. After studying, Emma walks home. She stops by the grocery store to buy some fruits and snacks. At the store, she sees her friend Sarah, and they chat for a few minutes. Emma picks bananas, strawberries, and a bag of pretzels. She also buys a bottle of milk and some cereal for the next morning. At home, she changes into comfortable clothes and starts her homework. She works on a science project and writes an essay for English class. Her science project involves creating a model of the solar system, so she carefully glues small balls onto a board to represent the planets. It's a fun and creative task. At 6:30, Emma has dinner with her family. They sit at the dining table and talk about their day. Emma's younger brother tells a funny story about his teacher, and everyone laughs. They enjoy a meal of grilled chicken, rice, and vegetables. Emma's mom talks about her work, and her dad shares news about a family trip they're planning for the weekend. After dinner, Emma washes the dishes. Then, she goes to her room to relax. She reads a book and listens to soft music. At 9:00, she prepares for bed. She brushes her teeth, washes her face, and changes into pajamas. Before sleeping, she writes in her journal about her day and thinks about what she wants to do tomorrow. She also sets her alarm clock for the next day. As she lies in bed, she reflects on her accomplishments and feels grateful for the productive day. She closes her eyes and drifts off to sleep, ready for another day. This was Emma's typical day. Did you understand most of it? Try listening again to improve your comprehension. Remember, practice makes perfect. See you in the next session. Travel and adventure. Hello, and welcome to another English practice session. Today, we will follow a journey full of excitement and discovery. Imagine you are exploring new places, meeting interesting people, and experiencing different cultures. Let's begin this adventure. Sarah had always dreamed of visiting another country. One day, she decided to make her dream come true. She opened her laptop, searched for travel destinations, and found a beautiful city called Florence in Italy. Sarah started planning her trip. First, she checked her passport to make sure it was valid. Then, she booked her flight tickets online. She chose a window seat so she could enjoy the view from the airplane. After that, she reserved a room at a small, cozy hotel near the city center. Finally, she made a list of things she wanted to do: visit museums, eat Italian food, and take pictures of historical buildings. Sarah also packed her suitcase carefully. She folded her clothes neatly and included comfortable shoes for walking. She didn't forget her camera, a guidebook, and a small journal to write about her experiences. She was ready to begin her adventure. On the day of her trip, Sarah arrived at the airport early. She went to the check-in counter and handed her passport and ticket to the airline staff. They gave her a boarding pass and checked her luggage. After that, Sarah went through security. She placed her bag on a conveyor belt and walked through a metal detector. Everything went smoothly. With some time to spare, Sarah explored the airport. She saw shops selling souvenirs, books, and snacks. She bought a travel pillow for the long flight and a bottle of water. At the departure gate, she sat down and watched airplanes take off and land. The sound of engines filled the air, and she felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. When it was time to board, Sarah walked through the jet bridge and entered the plane. She found her seat, stored her bag in the overhead compartment, and fastened her seat belt. The flight attendant gave safety instructions, and soon the plane was taking off. Sarah looked out of the window and saw the city getting smaller and smaller. After a long flight, Sarah arrived in Florence. She collected her luggage and took a taxi to her hotel. The city was breathtaking. She saw narrow streets with cobblestone paths, colorful buildings with flower boxes, and small cafes with outdoor seating. She couldn't wait to explore. The next morning, Sarah started her day with a cup of cappuccino and a croissant at a local cafe. The coffee was rich, and the pastry was delicious. She then walked to the Uffizi Gallery, a famous art museum. Inside, she admired paintings and sculptures by great artists like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci. She spent hours learning about the history of each piece. In the afternoon, Sarah visited the Florence Cathedral, also known as the Duomo. The architecture was stunning, and she climbed to the top of the dome for a panoramic view of the city. She took pictures of the red rooftops, the Arno River, and the surrounding hills. It was a view she would never forget. While exploring, Sarah met people from different countries. At a gelato shop, she started a conversation with a couple from Spain. They talked about their favorite flavors and recommended a place to visit. Later, at a local market, Sarah met an Italian woman selling handmade jewelry. The woman told Sarah stories about the city's history and traditions. Sarah bought a bracelet as a souvenir. In the evening, Sarah joined a cooking class to learn how to make traditional Italian pasta. She met other travelers, and together they made fresh pasta, tomato sauce, and tiramisu. The instructor was kind and patient, explaining each step in detail. After cooking, everyone sat at a large table and enjoyed the meal they had prepared. It was a wonderful way to end the day. Traveling wasn't always easy. On her third day, Sarah got lost while trying to find a famous garden. Her phone's battery was low, and she couldn't use the map. She asked the local man for directions, and he kindly helped her. They talked for a while, and he even shared some tips about hidden spots in the city. Another challenge was the language barrier. Sarah knew a few Italian phrases, but sometimes it was difficult to communicate. She used gestures and her guidebook to express herself. Most people were friendly and patient, and she learned new words every day. After a week of adventure, it was time for Sarah to return home. She packed her suitcase, making sure to include all her souvenirs. At the airport, she reflected on her journey. She felt grateful for the experiences, the people she had met, and the memories she had created. On the flight back, Sarah wrote in her journal. She described the beautiful places she had visited, the delicious food she had tasted, and the lessons she had learned. She promised herself to travel more in the future and to keep exploring the world. This was Sarah's exciting adventure. Did you enjoy following her journey? Listening to stories like this can improve your vocabulary and comprehension. Remember to keep practicing and dreaming of your own adventures. See you next time.